r/AskReddit. What's something you're pretty sure only your body does, but have been too embarrassed to ask? NSFW. If I get tickled on the side of my neck, especially if it's because someone is whispering in my ear, I feel the tickle right above my hip on the corresponding side of my body. If tickled in my belly button, I feel it deep in my genitalia. It's not entirely pleasant. Almost painful actually. Like internal pinching. But deep inside my junk. Made things very confusing as a kid when family and little old aunties would tickle my belly button. They just thought I didn't like it. I'd say no, it hurts. And they'd tell me they weren't hurting me. Yeah. OMG, I get the same thing. Like almost a string is attached from your genitals internally to your belly button and it's sort of painful and so uncomfortable. Whenever I poop I cry. Not on purpose. The tears just fall. Maybe you're sad that a part of you is leaving your body? Don't be sad because it's over. Smile because it happened. Not always, but sometimes. I have a sharp pain in my side when I breathe. I have to take small breaths till it goes away. I get the same thing. I always intend to mention it at a yearly physical. But I forget every time until it happens again. For me, it's exclusively the right side. About halfway down my ribs. Shallow breathing until it's over. When I get sick, and it doesn't matter with what, migraine, sinus infection, common cold, I get awful gas. Horrific. The cat won't sleep in the same room, it smells so bad. Sometimes my jaw gets itched open and I have to force it shut. And it pops loudly and painfully. It can happen randomly. It's not enough trouble to get it checked out. But goddamn does it hurt sometimes. Edit. Jesus. I didn't realize this would get so many replies. I will definitely get it checked out. Thanks everyone. That's TMJD. Mandibular joint dysfunction. Go see a dentist. Edit. Thanks/you/Clasamonkey for pointing out that it should be TMJD and not TMJ. That or you're part reptile. Posted same thing in a similar thread months ago. In my earlobe sometimes there is this weird hard thing that appears. Sometimes it hurts to squeeze it between my fingers and sometimes nothing. Goes away randomly. If I'm brave or unk enough one day maybe I'll try cutting it open like that guy with the weird peen growths. I used to get pimples inside my earlobes. They would be just hard little bumps most of the time, but sometimes they would come to the surface and I could pop them like a regular zit. Try putting some acne spot treatment stuff on it and see if it helps. If it's like mine, they don't pop. They aren't zits. They feel like cysts or something, and they can grow big. Whenever I take a really large dump, I always come a little. Like I'm not erect, and it isn't XL. It just kind of drips from my peen. Take a look at the size of the dump the next time that happens. That's how big of a peen you need inside you. OMG, I'm dying. My vision is not completely clear. Like if I look at a blank white wall, there's thousands of flashes over my vision, so I don't see solid white. I feel like the flashes have color, but it comes and goes so fast that I can't tell. The best way to describe it is that I see static in my vision. All lights to me have starbursts, every single one. Never met anyone else that had this problem. I can do half crossed eyes, keep one eye straight and the other crossed. Also, I have an insane craving for salt and inability to taste normal amounts. Like McDonald's French fries do not have a hint of salt to me. I have to drop at least 4 packets for enough salt. I also have cravings to just take a salt shakers and pour a ton of salt in my hand and just eat it. I put so much salt on everything. My friends even bought me a pack of Himalayan salt for my birthday over a year ago. I went to the doctor and did a blood test, absolutely nothing wrong or off about me except that my red blood cells are smaller than the average person's. The easy answer is cataracts. But it could also be glaucoma or even early onset Fuchs dystrophy. You seriously need to see an optometrist. I was born with glaucoma and cataracts and had surgeries for both. I wear RGP's hard plastic glass contact lenses. I see my eye doctor every 3 months. If I gulp down too much water too hard / fast, I get this excruciating, suffocating, cramping pain in my esophagus that lasts for no more than a minute, but feels like I've engulfed a billiard ball. I get this. But here's the thing. I don't stop drinking. It'll feel like I'm about to die, but my body is like, lol, drink the rest like the madman you are, so I end up necking the rest and being crippled for the next minute or so. Dude, I do that sometimes too. Like, I can immediately feel that I might have ducked up, but there is no stopping. I get very bad chest pain when I'm upset. Like a crushing central chest pain. Transient. Only lasts a few seconds at a time. I have to be really upset to get them though. I would get this during relationship troubles and bad thoughts or hearing bad news. I wonder now if it's a panic attack. I'm not sure though. Probably. Edit. Not just an attack, but anxiety. If you have severe or chronic anxiety, it can manifest as physical symptoms. Every time I clean my left ear, I always have to cough. It's usually just one intense, sudden cough. It's my ear cough. Me too. It's like a dry throat cough that kind of makes my eyes water. Right ear feels amazing though. Sometimes I get this little white spots on my balls. They almost look like acne, but it never has any red. I just squeeze them and a tiny amount of white stuff comes out, then it'll go away. Someone's there. Other times nothing. It's been this way for years, so I assume it's nothing serious. I've got them on my peen and balls. I tried looking at pics on Google to see if other people had it, but turns out all I learned is that I like looking at peens. Whenever I see a dog, this strange squealing sound comes out of my mouth. It's pretty embarrassing in public. I'm a man in my 20s. If you can't control it, I think that might be just you. My heart beats too hard, I think. Even at a resting rate. It beats so hard that it makes my t-shirt move/jump. Are you perhaps an underweight baby chicken? Sometimes I don't feel thirst for a few days or a week in a row, and I have to consciously remember to drink when I notice the dehydration. I have this. I used to get bad headaches and feel like shit all the time. So now I just fill up a 1-gallon jug and try to finish it by the end of the day. Liquid leaks out of my belly button sometimes. See a doctor. That could be something serious. Really? I had that as a kid/teen. Most foul smelling stuff in the world. I was ducking fat too. IDK if that has much to do with it. But went to the doctor, and they looked around in there and said it's probably a follicle that got scared closed when they cut my cord that gets infected. Could be bullshit, but that's what I was told. Hasn't happened in a few years though. I get heart palpitations sometimes, and they can induce a panic attack because I think I'm having a heart attack, even though I know I'm not. The severity of the panic attacks has reduced a lot, but they can still happen. Edit. A lot of people have mentioned see a doctor. Cut caffeine, and either up or lower my potassium/magnesium intake. So, I did see a doctor once about it. The nurse even heard the palpitation and freaked out. They ran an EKG. Got a slightly weird reading that indicated a possible heart attack in my past. But they didn't seem too freaked out about it. They sent the results to a cardiologist for review. But I never heard back. Gave the results to my friend, who is a doctor, and he immediately said it was probably just a misread of the EKG. As far as caffeine goes, I only have one regular size cup of coffee in the morning and rarely any more than that. Magnesium/potassium may be at play. I try to eat vegetables every day and have one banana 5 days a week. I also exercise fairly vigorously 6 days a week. So, who the duck knows what's wrong? Anyway, glad to see I'm not entirely alone in this. Had the same problem. You're probably low on electrolytes. Try magnesium. This happened to me too. Had palps. Went to doctor all clear. But they'd still give me anxiety. Started taking mag supplement and they were gone in 3 days. Constantly farting for a ridiculously long time. Jokes guys. Thanks for the love. Happy New Year's. My auntie Nora farted for 5 minutes. Split tennis ball. I can keep my finger straight and bend only the top knuckle, so it's flat on top. Same. Can you do it with all 4 fingers? Trying to get them all going at once is a challenge. I've met a few other people who can do it growing up. Whenever I have a cold, I end up drinking like 5x the recommended daily amount of water intake and then have to get up to pee every 10-15 minutes. It's ridiculously annoying. Sometimes when I have a bad cold, I forget to drink enough anyway. My pee turns almost black. Dude, you might be inducing some level of rhabdo. Brown to dark brown urine can mean your muscles are breaking down and causing myoglobin to go into your bloodstream, which damages your kidneys. Go see a doctor. Sometimes when I see or think about things like stitches or wounds, I get a brief but intense tingling that emanates throughout my butt cheeks. I get that mostly when people tell me about when they get hurt or if I see a wound on someone other than me. When I move the joint in my ankles, so my feet go up and down, my ankle joint pops. It's very audible. Loud enough for my wife to hear me coming down the hall when I try to tiptoe to sneak up on her. Same here, wow. And going down the stairs too. Also, if you want to sneak around better, I figured out there's a specific range of motion that won't make it click. You have to avoid maximal flexion of the joint. At least that works for me. Sometimes my mustache hurts. Like just in one spot. It's like I'm being stabbed in the lip by my own hair. But when I look at it, there is no place being stabbed. I used to have this. Turned out to be dry skin that I couldn't see under the mustache. If I eat anything late at night, I have to wait 2 hours before I allow myself to go horizontal. If I don't, I wake up in the morning with immense pressure in my chest, puking up what I can only describe as sour yellow bile. The puking stops after the first one, but the discomfort lasts about 12 hours. Edit. I've never gotten so much feedback from a single comment. Thanks everybody for your advice. Have you been to the doctor about this? I have not, because I can easily avoid it by timing my snacks around my bedtime. And doctors are for rich people. When it happens, it's always my fault, put it that way. When I get jabbed by something in a large muscle, corner of a table to my quad or glute, door handle to my bicep etc, there's no pain for about 3-5 seconds. Then the most unbearable pain blooms out from the impact site and I can't think about anything else until it passes. I've tried describing it to people, but I just get looked at weirdly. Nothing on Google either. By now I feel like I'm the only person who experiences this. Are you me? I'll be walking through a room and bump my thigh into a chair. 2 seconds later it feels like someone is knife ducking my leg and I'm having a muscle spasm at the same time. I will then be left with a bruise. But when I fall off a chair or slip on ice, it miraculously doesn't hurt at all. If I'm sitting with my balls just resting on my legs or something, they'll slowly move around like they're alive. Not sure if it's normal or not. They self-regulate for heat. It's normal. Like a lava lamp. Was hoping I would find out I can do cool weird hit with my body after reading the comments, but instead was just reminded I had depression. This was cool. I'm 21. So I should be at my prime. Yet my body is in a constant state of just blue. I have no energy and it take 2 hours for my vision to focus in the morning. Get checked for hyperthyroidism. It causes lethargy. When I pee, the head of my peen blows up like a balloon. Never asked about it. Take off the condom. Son. I can spread my toes apart. Point my big toe up while curling the others all the way under. Bend them at the second joint. Curl them all under like making a foot fist. And even interlace my toes together like holding hands. Edit. I can almost tie shoes with them. Someone else's of course, and can definitely pick things up with them. My dad used to call me monkey growing up. Edit. Wow. I had no idea this was so common. Everyone I've met has always been so bewildered by my monkey toes. Because I move them subconsciously sometimes. Thanks for making me feel normal. Reddit. They say making a foot fist is good for anxiety from flying. When you get home after a flight you make fists with your toes and walk around. Oh wow. Thanks. I'm actually really afraid of flying. Wait. Why is it for flying specifically? Is it not good for anxiety over other things? The right side of my labia minora is much longer and feels much spongier and stretchier than the other side for some reason. It always has, since I was a little kid. It's probably natural, but it's still kinda weird. I just spent like an hour yesterday looking at a VAG positivity blog with pictures of people's vulvae. And from that, and also from mine a bit, I can tell you that labia minora tend to have a surprising amount of asymmetry. If anyone you're ducking ever gives you trouble about it, rather than just being like, hey, this is a cool thing about your body, they are totally not worth it. Dude, I do that too. It's weirdly interesting. When I was a kid, I would be able to bend my erection and push it back into my body. I have no idea how I discovered this. I looked it up a few times and never found anything on it. I'm pretty sure I must have broken the tissue at some point to be able to do this. I can't quite imagine what you mean. Ducking, like and subscribe.